So what's up? Big gang, big slime shit. You feel me? It's Big Draco, Big Amethyst. We in this thing. Ladrika, she on vacation because I don't know what sis got going on right now, but she on vacation or whatever. So I want to, first of all, I'm going to do 2 different videos, I feel like, because I don't really want to make this video so long to where people get bored, you feel me? So what I want to do is I want to give, since I missed Mental Monday, although I didn't miss it, I just didn't record what I studied over. So we're gonna do like a transformation Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully what I say transforms you, you know, in some type of way, because I know it transformed me. So let's get into it. So on Monday, my Mental Monday, I prayed over my Bible before I opened it, and I was just like, Lord, give me something. So he opened me up to Songs of Solomon, which is Kings of Solomon. And he took me to chapter 8, which was about 14 verses. To me, that stood out because, for one, the Songs of Solomon is basically a book about love and how the masculine and the feminine was like kind of admiring each other, but it's through like poems, and it's through like, they use a lot of metaphoric things, and it's very exotic. And it made me mad because we had really low-key talked about this in my college class, and I really didn't pay no attention to it. And I really kind of felt some type of way about it, because then I felt like that would have given me like a whole different perspective of this. But bygones is bygones, and whatever. But I still was able to do my study. And like I said, I read Songs of Solomon, chapter 8 in its entirety. So verses 1 through 14. And so as I was reading that, there were some things that came to mind that said, and I wrote them down at the beginning. It's like 4 different things. Some of them are questions. Really, a lot of them are questions. So the first thing that I wrote down was, take one step and God will finish the rest. And then I was asked, is your trust strong enough to leap without true and clear direction? Then it kind of was followed up with, how deep is your trust? And I feel like that question is more pertaining to like a focus factor. Like, where are you allowing your trust to focus on? Are you focusing on only how you feel with no acknowledgement with how God says that you can feel, or even just without acknowledging how your higher self feels? Because, you know, that's something I've been coming into contact about a lot lately. You know, it's just like the whole idea of the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and just how that is, you know what I'm saying, the masculine, the feminine in your spirit. You feel me? Because at the end of the day, like, those are all 3 things that came in one form. Because again, the Father is who we believe as God, the ultimate creator, where he sent his son down in a physical manifestation of him, which means that is God in the flesh form, which is us humanly. Like, the spirit has been put into the body for, or not even that at that point that the spirit had been put into the body, because, you know, he also had to go through baptism for that initiation process to go through, which is something that I don't really feel like I speak about too often, even though I went through that process. But again, I think it's kind of because no matter what I tell you, you still have to go seek it out yourself. So yeah, and then it comes down to the spirit, where that's where you begin to acknowledge, you know, God and everything, or just acknowledging that you have no control over anything, and that your spirit is really God in that fleshly body, and that you have to connect all 3 of those understandings in one, which is my understanding of what the coming back of Jesus was. Although, as much as I looked through the sky during those days where I was getting involved in him, I definitely saw an imagery of him coming out the sky with horses. You feel me? It was really weird. But again, I can tell you all my experiences, but it ain't gonna make sense unless you go search him yourself. Because just because I tell you my experience don't mean he gonna show you, he gonna manifest himself in the same way to you, because we all have different levels of understanding. So that's what I felt like about that question of trust, is where do you place your trust? And then I also got to the question of, what's your definition of love? Because a lot of people in this day and age, they have replaced the word love with loyalty. And I always ask, more specifically, I haven't asked a woman what her definition of loyalty is, but from a man's perspective, men say that loyalty is like, no matter if you love me or not, you're not gonna do wrong by me. But in my understanding, that's what love is, that you don't do things to hurt people just because that's who you support, that's who you have your back for. You know what I'm saying? That's the standard that you hold with people that you love. You just won't cross them. But a lot of people have this understanding that, you know, the people that have told them that they love them has ended up crossing them anyway. But again, that's just the manifestation of you knowing that these people really don't love you. You know what I'm saying? Because again, somebody that accepts you truly as themselves, they don't try to hurt you. They try to protect you. Again, it goes back to the whole love is kind, love is patient, love is all of those things, which I truly believe, you know, although I don't really, I guess, stand on it, because I don't know, love is not perfect either. You know what I'm saying? They give a definition that love is perfect and it's not. Just like people want to, and that's why I say I feel like the word loyalty was like a gate word, a gatekeeping word for love. It gives you this idea of commitment, or it gives you this idea of support without any type of emotion attached to it. But again, I can't support something that I don't have emotions attached to. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel like, and I hear the example of celebrities, you know what I'm saying? Like, people idolize these celebrities and don't even know them. You know what I'm saying? But again, this is where we getting these ideas from too, is what these celebrities speak to us about, when at the end of the day, they going through stuff worse than us or just like us, you know? So I don't know, but those are the questions. And so, what did I learn from this reading? To be honest, I felt like this reading, it spoke a lot to who I needed to be as a feminine woman. You know what I'm saying? I notated that this chapter was being written to the bride. Whether you want to, you know what I'm saying, view yourself as Solomon's bride, or if you even want to connect that to where you don't want no physical husband and you are God's bride. You feel me? Because, I mean, ultimately, that's what we all are to him. We are his brides and his grooms. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really weird, but at the same time, that's why I believe there's a notion that there is a mother, a high mother being and a high father being. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's just this masculine energy that just rules the world. I don't believe it, because at the end of the day, men don't even, I mean, they can possess, everybody possesses the skill of discernment, but at the same time, I believe that that's why God made women, so that, you know, men could possess the action pact, but that the woman was supposed to lead them to understand what actions they need to take, which is, again, another example to me in Adam and Eve, where Adam, he had this knowledge. Is that a fairy? I think it is. I think it is. Anyway, but, you know what I'm saying? Adam, he had the knowledge of what not to do. And when God created Eve, she didn't have the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? That was the trick for her. Are you going to bite into the knowledge, or are you going to trust your man and submit to him? And you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, that's an example of free will too, because Adam had the opportunity to tell her, or he might have even did. I don't really, you know what I'm saying? You got to read that yourself. But I really don't believe he told her, now don't eat that. You know what I'm saying? He allowed Satan, or the trickster, or, you know what I'm saying, the temptation, he allowed that to speak for him. He never stepped in to kind of like protect her and be like, nah, don't eat that. And he just kind of watched what she was going to do, and he followed her. You know what I'm saying? Adam ate the apple because Eve ate the apple. Eve ate the apple because Adam didn't tell her not to eat the apple. But at the same time, if Eve never ate the apple, she wouldn't be able to think for herself. It would have showed that women can't think for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it goes all into that for me, when you don't look at it as, and that's another thing about the Bible and what I learned in my class this past week. There's a thing called form criticism, where, you know, and that's what I believe we have, or we don't acknowledge whenever we read the Bible. We want to read the Bible like it's a rule book versus reading it as a story. And that's what form criticism is that you don't read, or you don't listen to people's art for what it is, but you look at it to receive it as your own, or to make it personalized as your own, or to You know what I'm saying? So that put it in perspective to me, why I had always felt like I could equalize myself or set myself equal to Jesus, which is what you're supposed to do anyway, because you can't say we made in his image and then not set yourself equal to him, you know. But it just put it in deeper perspective for me that I was not wrong in how I was handling myself at the beginning of my Christian journey. But at the same time, I understood that by me doing that, that made me justified to walk in the wilderness. You know what I'm saying? To make me walk in the wilderness and not be harmed by the wilderness. Because I truly believe that just as much as God pulls you out of the wilderness, he puts you back in there. Because again, the thing is, how is he going to save people if he's pulling all of his people out of the wilderness? You feel me? So some people got to go back to the wilderness, and some people have to entertain the wilderness so he can get his people out of there. But a lot of people don't understand that notion. And I personally feel like it was unique to my life because of the fact when I was walking in my journey, I was walking exactly how the Bible told me to. You know what I'm saying? But I was still getting ridiculed. But that's what he says, that people that walk in my name or that walk for me, they will be persecuted. They will be this, that, and the third. But that was to make me. It was not to get me, although it kind of distracted me. You know what I'm saying? Again, he puts people in your path so that you can get back on track, or that he can refocus you, or whatever the case may be. But again, he puts you back in the wilderness so you can understand from a whole different level of perspective. And like I said, I think I've said this before, but like I had a young man that did me like that. You know what I'm saying? Where I felt, and it's not even that I felt so high and mighty, but I felt so excited, and I felt so happy about, you know, exploring what and who God was in my life. And you know, I knew that my passion was in kids, and I knew that that was the level that needed to be taught, because nobody makes their kids go to church anymore. And not that you should even make them, because I feel like it should always be a choice. But at the same time, it's like, it's getting to the point to where nobody really understands what this realm of life is about, or nobody acknowledges it, period. So I was in the high schools doing what I do as a substitute. I'm teaching, I'm taking my book, I'm studying. If people ask me questions about what I'm looking at, I'm going to tell them, I'm going to explain it, whatever. And you know, people like that. And it really wasn't even so much that I was teaching out of the Bible, but like, I don't know, it's something. There's a healing that goes forth when people can get into a group and expose their hurt. And that's what I did with the kids. Like, we got into, like, if their teacher didn't leave an assignment, and that's how I knew God was working, because when I was going into these classes, these teachers was not leaving assignments. And that's at the junior high level and the high school level. Like, I was being put in classes where these kids had no real set assignments, where I would have had to enforce them to do anything, because again, I was doing my job perfectly fine. So I took those as moments that, okay, we finna do like a group discussion. So we got up, we hold hands, and we talk about like, and I was asking questions more like, what is it that you fear? And everybody can say what they fear. And you know, a lot of these kids ended up realizing like, bro, I'm just like you. Or they get to hear, aside from people where it's like, damn, that's really what you go through, but you walk around here smiling all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that was healing, because again, it's the unification of everybody's pain versus pointing fingers at everybody. And I felt like it was way more helpful at the kid level because of their innocence in their mind. And not only that, but these are people that want to be understood. So I don't know, that was my thing. And I done got all the way off of what my story was about. But God, I asked you to guide me. Maybe they don't even need to know about this story, and they just need to go read it for themselves. Because again, like I said, it connected me back to my feminine energy. But I do want to highlight a few things that I did right, where I kind of looked up what Solomon was supposed to, what he represents in the Bible. He is a man / a person of wisdom. And I put man / a person because we are all feminine and masculine energy. So this is a masculine energy that he didn't want the riches of the world Okay, let me start over. He was given a gift to ask God for anything, which everybody has been given this gift. So again, this is me setting myself to Solomon. He has this ability to ask God whatever he wants, because again, God tells you, ask and you shall receive. I really wanted to say Jeremiah 33, where he says, call unto me, I will answer thee and show you great and mighty things you know not. So again, you can ask this man for whatever he wants and he gonna give it to you. Now, whether you like it or not, that's completely based upon you. And that's where you take your levels of discernment and you go on about life and you continue to, because that's God's guidance, to be honest. He's going to give you everything, but how you react to it, if you don't like it, that means it's not for you. Because again, yes, he is going to give you everything that you need and desire. And that's kind of hard to, I don't even want to say it's hard to understand, because again, he's going to give you what you want, but he also already supplies you with everything that you need. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, Solomon, with him having this ability to be able to ask for anything, he chose to ask for wisdom, which is basically the ability to morally choose between good and evil. And so he just wanted to understand, how the world worked basically anyway. So, yeah, that's really, with wisdom comes test. How else can you discern between good and bad? Go through it, learn it, and grow through it. So yeah, that's kind of basically what Solomon was that he just wanted wisdom so that he could make proper decisions, to where he wouldn't have to continue to ask for forgiveness, that he would be able to do the right thing the first time. And that's what that is. You know what I'm saying? Okay, and then so another thing that kind of stuck out to me was how he was explaining that, really it was just like the fruits of the spirit is basically what no, that's not it. The mountain of spices, because it says something about, being like a roe and going into the mountains of spices. You know what I'm saying? And I wanted to look up what that meant, because what mountain has spices? Like, it's cold. It's just rock. You know what I'm saying? It didn't make sense to me. So I was like, this got to mean something deeper. You know what I'm saying? Which I looked up what a deer represents as well. You know what I'm saying? Deers are harmless, gentle, loving, beautiful. And then they used the word timid, which was fearful. But I didn't really like that word because you're not supposed to be fearful, but at the same time, it is a natural instinct that when your mind knows that you are trying to do something different, it begins to fear. So it makes you want to stay in where you're comfortable at. So I took timid and made it mean, not even that I made it mean, but like I equated it to the thought of moving with caution versus being fearful. Because when you fear, you won't move at all. But timid is also shy, so it's like you're kind of hesitant. So which is why I came up with that. But the mountain of spices, when I looked it up and what it equated to, it was tangible evidence of the spirit, which are fruits of the spirit. Tangible mean these are things that you can touch, basically, which the spirit you can't really touch. Is just something that you see. But the 7 fruits of the spirit are judgment, which is discernment, faith, hope, love, knowledge, righteousness, and wisdom. And I had broke those down to where these are smaller principalities, such as discernment, belief, discipline, sacredness, and consciousness, to where we can just keep it on one hand. And I'm going to put up my feminine hand, because these are the attributes that she holds. You know what I'm saying? The level of discernment, that's your sense of judgment. You know what I'm saying? You figure out your senses of judgment as you go through things, which is why I feel like it's very important that you don't beat yourself up about things that you go through, and that you talk positively to yourself, because if you don't go through things, then you will never know how to get over things. And plus, if you don't go through things, then how can you ever grow? Because we're always in this comfort zone. So then that brings me down to the belief, which plays into the discernment, because if you don't believe in yourself, you can't judge nothing. If you don't believe in, period, point blank, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in the foundations you have set for yourself, there's no way for you to judge anything. You're going to accept everything, in which I feel like you should always accept everything, because again, you just don't know. But discernment is just like, it's judgment. and you just don't know how to judge stuff if you don't believe in anything. So it comes down to stand for something and fall for anything. Okay? So then it is discipline. Discipline goes into that too, because again, discipline I feel like it coincides with discernment, because when me having discipline, that means I'm going to actively decide on what I want to fool with and what I don't want to fool with. And it's a certain type of willpower and a certain type of self-love that I have to possess in order to know that I don't need to fool with this, because it's going to prevent me from getting where I'm going, or I need to fool with this because it's going to get me to where I'm going, although it doesn't look like what I should fool with. Either which way, it's going to get me somewhere. But I hope I'm explaining this right and I'm not misguiding, but like, discipline is just your willpower. It's your faith. It's your set belief. It's what you gonna stand on. You know what I'm saying? So then it comes down to sacredness, where to me that was righteousness. That was also wisdom, hope, love, and all of that, because sacredness it's not secrecy. It's complete transparency. But it's privacy. How can you be private without being secretive? Well, because I can ask you anything and I can give you the flat out answer without taking you through what I've been through. Whoever believes in me, as scripture, rivers of living water will flow. That was the scripture for today. So sacredness is like, I feel like that comes down to discipline as well, because it's a knowing of what to share without lying. But it's like sharing with full integrity. What is integrity? Authentic truth, honesty. You know what I'm saying? With sacredness, you can tell people exactly what they need to hear without explaining your whole life story. You know what I'm saying? Because there are things that need to remain kept because people use things against you. And that revolves around levels of consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Which to me is all of this as a whole. To be conscious is to be aware of things. To be conscious is to be connected, and it just all comes down to all of these stems of chakras, I personally believe, because again, wisdom, that's the crown chakra off the rip. Righteousness, I feel like that can go into everything as a whole, but it's more about your belief system. Whereas knowledge, I feel like that's the third eye. Love is the heart. Hope is I really want to say solar plexus. I'm going to give hope with the solar plexus because that's where your hope dwells. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say discipline as well, because what you're hopeful for, you're going to act on, whether as good or bad, which is why I feel like you have to have discernment. You know what I'm saying? But faith, that is, I feel like that's root chakra. And judgment, I feel like that's everything as well. Hope could really even be like throat chakra type stuff, which all of them, I feel like they all go coinciding with the root chakra, from the root chakra up. So yeah, and then let's see what else I wanted to talk about. It does mention breast, and I wanted to that was important to me because it even explained that a woman without breast, a woman without nurturing, a mother, yes, it is a mother, but a woman without breasts, well, first of all, let me back up. Breasts symbolize nurturing, nature, protection, beauty, motherhood, and vitality, which is just your livelihood. You know what I'm saying? But they are also things that bring pleasure, whether they are sexually or naturally, as in the form of breastfeeding. Because again, your mom, she uses breasts to feed you, which is why they really kind of try to educate people on breastfeeding, because your baby gets the most nutrition out of that. And not only that, the milk they make for these babies out here in the world is not real milk. So I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? It went on to explain that a woman without breasts, a woman without nurturing abilities, a woman without beauty, a woman without pleasure, all of these things, she will have a wall up, which is a resistance. She has a resistance about her. And with that resistance, she gets a place of silver that is built. And so I went deeper to understand what silver was, because, what is silver? Why is that important? You know what I'm saying? Why is that the result of her and her resistance? And so I wrote that a place of silver would be built. Silver was used to exchange for goods. It was most used before gold. So it represents a kingdom of inferiority. Okay? So with her having a wall, with her being resistant, with her not really wanting to take steps and leaps of faith that God is kind of trying to push her into, she gets the lower end of the stick because you're resistant. So if you want to be resistant, well, this is what you're going to get. You're going to always have to feel like you're smaller than people. You're always going to have to be exchanging out. You know what I'm saying? That's what it meant to me. Or really, obviously, what it means. Versus if the woman is a door, which means if she's open to her possibilities. And what I believe it's talking about is the heart chakra, because again, your heart space is what guides you. You know what I'm saying? If you have resentment, hate, and bitter in your heart, you are going to be resistant. You are going to be closed off. Versus if you have come into understanding and have accepted these bad things about yourself, you have a different, like, you're able to open up more. So with this woman with the open door, he says that he's going to enclose her with boards of cedar, which to me spoke about, protection or whatever. But when I went to look up what cedar was, it said it is a prepping water to be separated and cleansed by leprosy. Basically, that's what it meant by he would enclose her in cedars. Basically, he would close her off from things and begin to cleanse her, which leprosy is a skin disease, which is a skin disease, which is, again, our outside appearance. It's the biggest organ we have, because again, it's our outside appearance in every dynamic. So to be a leprosy, it means you have something wrong with your skin. You have something wrong with your physical external appearance. So then that leprosy, it was a disease that affected the peripheral nervous system, which is, again, your communication system, and that connects your nerves to your brain and your spinal. So that let me know. And then also that cedar is also represented to help promote positive thoughts and help you receive inner messages, which is, again, what that let me know, that it's all about communication. That, you know what I'm saying? If she can open herself up, then she can receive communication to where she don't have to be closed in. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to walk around inferior, because you are connected. You know that you receive. You know that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I hope this is making sense. But again, this is not going to make sense to people that have not read this. So I encourage you to go read it so that you can be like, okay, I see what she's talking about. But again, even just because this is what I'm talking about, it don't mean that's how he going to give it to you, because again, we probably in different spaces. You might already be this feminine, so he might need you to take it deeper. But me, I'm trying to come into this feminine energy. You feel me? But let's see what else I thought was pretty interesting. Okay, so then it was some other things that he said about this woman. Or I don't even think it was about the woman, but he just kind of explained these 3 different words that I thought was interesting. He said, love is strong as death, which means, to me, that meant that love ends all to recreate. You know what I'm saying? Or what he was saying is that love is as strong as death. Like, people can be affected by love just as much as they are easily affected by death. Like, people, they mourn like hell over death. But like, death happens so that more things can come. Things die out. Things change so that more things can happen. New things can be created. You know what I'm saying? That's why normally, say a grandparent dies and then you find out a cousin is pregnant or something. Like, that's the cycle of life, the circle of life. Again, Simba, you know what I'm saying? When his daddy died, it was time for him to step up into the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? So it's that same principality. Things have to die out so that new things can come in. And then it says that jealousy is cruel as the grave. And so to me, that said, don't compare yourself against what you don't have, because that's causing you more grief than the physical loss. And again, that goes down to the fact that comparison is a thief of joy, because what's for you is always for you. Again, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I can't compare myself to people. You know what I'm saying? I just can't do it, because for one, people be at different levels of consciousness. So, you know, a lot of people don't even compare to you, even though they trying to compare. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't compete where you don't compare. Period, point blank. You know? And so then the last thing was the coils of the fire have a vehement flame. So, to me, that let me know that, I don't know, people just be passionate. That's the only word I got from it, because vehement means passionate. Fire is passion. Fire signs, Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries, I want to say. Yeah, those are the fire signs. It's given. Yeah, those are the fire signs. Leo, Sagittarius, and Aries. Those are passionate people. And either they could be very passionate about themselves, they could be very passionate about others, or they have a good balance between both. You feel me? What do I think? I think Leos are I think they are the balanced. They are very passionate about themselves, and that can reflect in how passionate they are about others, which I feel like everybody has that capability, but I feel like that's how Leos are. That, you know, they get a very selfish standpoint, because, you know, how they feel about themselves, that's what they own, and they solid about that. And I feel like that's how Aries are, but I feel like they are at heart more selfish. You know what I'm saying? It's their highway or no way. You know what I'm saying? In which, again, everybody is not the same, but like, and that could just be the ways of the world too. But I feel like Sagittarius are very sweet at the heart, in that they are, not that they're sacrificial, but they are though. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are willing to do everything for you, whether you gonna reciprocate it or not. But once they've reached their climax, that's it. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like that's everybody. But that's just me talking about fire signs, because in all honesty, like, those are the signs, I wouldn't even say that they hurt me the most. Because I had a Leo, he made me feel like I wanted to die. Like, and really only because, like, it was personal. It was all me. It wasn't him that made me want to die, but it was just the trigger that he had set for me. Like, bitch, why are you abandoning me when I'm asking you X, Y, and Z? Like, all you have to do is be real. You feel me? So that just made me, like, want to die, because it just was like, bro, what am I doing wrong to where people got to keep doing me like this? The Sagittarius I had, I really liked him, to be honest, but it was weird for him because, or it was weird with him, because I always felt like it was some type of sexual thing, which I had always acknowledged that he was healing me sexually, because of the fact that somebody I had sex with and wasn't supposed to was a Sagittarius. So at the end of the day, I be trauma bonding myself with people, but, you know, he was a really cool person, but I also feel like he's testing me a lot. And then it comes down to my Aries, where I felt like he was really my husband, but he just wanted to make me feel like I wasn't worthy enough of his time. And baby, that's not how we living. So then there's another thing that says, nothing compares to love. It can't be drowned or quenched. Quenched means it can be lessened, stretched, or satisfied. And love can be satisfied. Because there are plenty of ways to satisfy love. That's why I think it's very important to know your love language. Like, I didn't know my love language, and I was out here asking niggas if they love their love language. I mean, if they love their love language. If they knew their love language. And it kind of was a slap in my face when I asked one dude that, and he was able to ask me back, well, what's yours? And maybe it was just the simple fact of that's how he was engaging in conversation. But, like, I think it was more the simple fact that he knew what his love language was. Like, some niggas don't be, like, knowing shit about that. So that was kind of crazy. But many waters cannot satisfy love. Giving up your systems for love is looked down on. And to me, that spoke to me about levels of self-love, because of the fact that I was the person that was trying to give everybody my love. And it wasn't until recently that I realized that even if you do have sex with people, you know, not everybody gives you negative energy, even if it is just one night stands, or even if y'all are just linking to goose. Like, some people really can give you positive energy, but at the same time, it also made me feel like I was part of the vampire kind of thing, because I don't know, I just felt like I was taking people energy when I was just goosing on people. It was really only one person specifically, but I don't know, I just honestly believe that one person is just my husband, but whatever. I also wanted to highlight that it spoke on spiced wine, which is symbolized as blessings and good judgment, which let me know that you can receive which wine is made of grapes, which grapes is purple. Grapes connect to the mind, you know what I'm saying? That's what it gives me, you know. And then it spoke about pomegranates, how that is a symbolism of righteousness and fertility. And I thought it was very interesting that was associated with the goddess Aphrodite. Make me your Aphrodite, make me your one and only. Yeah, that way. Which she was the mother. She is the mother. She is my mother in another life. I think she's Greek though. I think she's from the Greek era, but she was the goddess, or she is the goddess of love, marriage, and childbirth. You know what I'm saying? It's giving left hand, feminine energy. And then resting on the head. I forgot what it was talking about. That's why y'all need to go read it. This is just my notes, but it says on the resting head, it's receiving higher intelligence and guidance. Again, the crown chakra, which is the right hand, it's embracing the masculine energy, applying your action and your knowledge. I wrote down that Jerusalem is a place where the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus occurred. Y'all really have to go read this and what these things are talking about, because it's verses that go to this. I just wanted to break down so that it will be easier for you to understand. And two, I read this from the King James Bible. So it also started it off with the word wort, which means to be. And then I looked up the word despise, which is to be looked down on, you feel me? So then it even begins to talk about, and I'm kind of all over the place in my notes, so that's why you have to go read it. And then it spoke on the apple tree. To me, that was off the rip, wisdom, because, you know, the tree of life. The tree of life, again, we're taking it back to Adam and Eve, you feel me? But again, that's what it symbolizes, was correcting the past mistakes with wisdom, or your new fruit of light. Which is a tree is wisdom, life, and the apple was representative of redemption. The wilderness can be described as life without consciousness, because it is life in sin, but not. And I feel like that goes back to me saying earlier that just because I'm in the wilderness does not mean that I'm living out of sin, because again, sometimes you have to lower yourself so that you can get to people, but it just depends on how you do it. Which is why I feel like they say test the spirit by the spirit. Because I was put in a space to where I was isolating myself because I knew that I could not participate in X, Y, and Z. But God was still putting me in positions so that he could free me from sin. You feel me? Because I have repented. It's these spider webs for me. I have repented so much in regards to my fornication, you know what I'm saying? But I was still being picked at. And it wasn't until, girl, this spider is really, thank you. That's symbology for me that, like, I'm really out here creating what I need to create, and I'm doing what I need to do. And it's most definitely, because it's the spider building on my 9 West for me. I know. Okay, anyway, sorry. But what was I saying? Yeah, whatever. So then it says, set me, who, God's unconditional love, or the idea. I don't know what that one was about, but I think that's pretty much all my notes, basically, in that capacity. Yeah, I really encourage y'all to go read it. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it helped me understand who I needed to be more feminine wise, as far as especially the fruits of the spirit. Like, that's what I needed, because I could really only tell you the three, which was judgment, faith, and hope. But love, knowledge, righteousness, and wisdom, they all go into this together. And I'm grateful I was able to put them down into 5. Again, those 5 are discernment, belief, discipline, sacredness, and consciousness. Those are the fruits of the spirit in a condensed version. You feel me? But let's not forget that the 7 of them are judgment, faith, hope, love, knowledge, righteousness, and wisdom. So again, what I have reviewed with you about what I read was King Solomon, or Songs of Solomon, chapter 8, 1 through 14. Again, number 8, that's the number of abundance. That's also an infinity sign. What else? Those are really the only things that I can hear. You know, abundance and infinite. Which I guess that's what abundance is. It's the understanding that there is a vast majority of things, and abundance is not just financially. Abundance comes spiritually. Yeah, that's that. So that's the Bible study. I hope that was helpful. I really probably should have read some of it to you. Maybe I'll do that next time. We'll see. But that's my TED Talk for today. Love people. Love people. Really, really love people. No matter how hard it is. And again, love is a choice. Love conquers everything. And that's why I feel like that's the great example of Jesus, because he did not try to prove himself, nor did he ridicule anybody for anything. He sacrificed himself for the greater good without knowing if people would really love him. And, you know, although I believe that's how I'm supposed to walk, I also believe that he has told me that is not my position to walk. And he's taught me I had to put up boundaries, you feel me? But I'm gonna let y'all go. Y'all be on the lookout for my next video, as it is a car reading. Is it mine? No, it's just the back car, like my uncle. But here, let me let my cards kind of cleanse for a little bit. So yes, y'all, get in touch with thyself. Know thyself so that you can know God. You feel me? And listen to his voice. Listen to the song he's in my heart, a melody I start but can't complete. Listen, ooh. That's crazy. Now I'm gonna listen to it. All right, y'all. Have a great day.